I've been working as a coach for more than 20 years, and I would like to save you a lot of hassle. First thing is, there's nothing to do if you're not doing something. By that, I mean, most people, when they approach meditation, they think, okay, there is all these techniques. I should be doing this, should be doing that. Don't do like this, don't do like that. There's so many opinions about what you should be doing to meditate. But the most important thing, if you approach, say, as a coach, or you approach someone, a teacher, and trying to find some real progress, the first thing that you're going to be said is, are you actually meditating? Because it just doesn't matter which technique you're using, which methodology, which teacher you're following. If you're actually not implementing the exercises or the kind of techniques they're asking you to do, it's just not going to work. And the reason why I bring this up is because trying to help people, you realize that the biggest friction is exactly that. There's a lot of people who say, oh yeah, I would love to meditate, but I don't know how to meditate, but I can meditate. There's so many things, but you know what? Very good advice for anyone out there trying to approach meditation, just to save you a lot of time, is just meditate every day. Just take, 5 minutes and make it an everyday thing. Like you do, you wash your teeth, you eat, or you definitely have to cook, or you have to clean, or, we do a lot of things every day. And of course they are important, but if you had to put in a balance what is really, really, really important in your life, you probably will get to understand that it's about being good every day. And I'm just saying that it's more priority than people think. People say, I don't have time. I don't find time. Well, have you actually really tried? Because the problem there is that you haven't really prioritized what is important for you. And sometimes it's not easy to join the dots, but all your happiness depends on you feeling good. And meditation is probably one of the most promising things you can do to find calm, peace, and a joyful life. But in order to do that, you first imagine that you're learning to play an instrument. The very beginning, let's assume it, the first year, couple of years, you're not going to be amazing. And that's okay. Nobody has ever been. I mean, some people, if they are very intense as Mark, can do some progress, very impressive progress in a few months or 1 year. But in general, just chill out, relax. It's a long-term thing. If you really want to change the way your brain is wired, the way you react for real, in the long term, is something that is done little by little. And for that, then daily is the key. So, meditation can be very complicated when you approach it and you don't exactly understand what it is. But I just want to give you a very simple formula. Just sit. Just sit. There is even some traditions that even call it like that. In Zen Buddhism, they call it just sit. Sitting. The difference, obviously, is that you're not thinking about anything else. You're not checking your phone. You keep your body quiet and still. Just focus on that. Sounds very simple, but it's not that simple. Just sit and keep your body still. In the very beginning, for most people, this is going to feel a bit uncomfortable because you're going to start noticing all the rush you have inside of yourself. And sometimes we carry a lot of negative feelings that we try to release through social media or video games or even music. We try to escape from that feeling we're carrying. So, of course, sitting and trying to be still, it's not going to be an easy task, but think of it more like a cleaning. So I'm just telling you that you're saving a lot of time if instead of just wondering much about what meditation is, you actually first meditate. And then when you are regularly sitting, even as little as 5 minutes, your brain, your schedule, the people around you are starting, what are you doing? I'm just meditating a few minutes. People are fine with it. Find an app, maybe. A lot of people use guided meditations. That's cool. But don't stop there. Just don't think it is about one specific technique. You could just sit and chill and let your body not move. It's not that you're trying to force yourself to stay still. Just let it sink. And ultimately, that is going to turn your mind around. It's going to make it calm too. So, of course, that may take time. But in the other hand, I know many of you know that when you are in nature and you just spontaneously see it, sometimes you just get it. So we're not talking about something so abstract or so impossible to do. But we have a lot of mental chat, and that makes it very difficult to actually just sit. Okay, so my number one advice to anyone approaching meditation would be just find 5 minutes in your life. Just sit. Just stay there. Many meditations and teachers support the idea that focusing on the breath is a very good starting point. I would say, yeah, well, actually work for a lot of people. So it's a good starting point. But you may just like to sit in the street and just listen, or even just see. But if you do it, just make sure that you are really there. You're not thinking about something else. The problem is always has to do with this compulsive idea that your mind just goes off. You see it, you stay, and your mind starts thinking about something else. The idea is to sit and be present. Of course, there's going to be thoughts in there, especially in the very beginning. There's going to be a lot of thoughts. But if you sort of anchor your attention in this moment, one way or another, even it's just keeping your body still, it just doesn't matter. The thoughts will come and will go. And at some point, you start getting it. It's very natural. You little kids are meditating. You were meditating when you were a very little kid. Naturally, you were just spontaneously, your mind wasn't engaging so much in so much conditioning and software and experiences we have been accumulating. So it's actually more natural than you think. Just sit, and what we're doing is just undo our minds. So the beginning, you don't know what you're doing. Imagine you're learning piano. In the beginning, you're not going to be a great concert pianist. It's just not going to happen, and that's okay. But you can make serious progress. But the most important factor, and that's what I make in this video, the most important factor that is going to make you improve is that you actually sit every day. Make it like no excuses. Is it important for you? It's all about happiness, and you're definitely going to find it. And me and many people are out there just trying to reach out to other people to say, yeah, this fucking really works. So just give it a chance. And don't make it complicated. Make it just a regular thing. You just meditate. It's cool. Nowadays, people are fine with the idea of meditating. Don't make it like a big deal. Don't talk even about it. You don't need to share like, oh, I do meditate. Don't meditate. Don't talk about meditation. Just do it. 5 minutes before lunch, after lunch. Well, after, if you have been eating, sometimes the digestion makes you feel a little dizzy. So it's normally people don't recommend to meditate after eating, but you could do it in the morning, you can do it in the evening. Just find a time, and just showing up every day is the number one target when you're starting meditation. And you may think this is obvious, but I promise you, met a lot of people practicing for years, going to retreats. They go through a very serious dynamic, and yet they wouldn't be able to integrate meditation in their daily life. And what happened is, even they did these processes. Oh, I need to go to a retreat, and this retreat you get into state. But you know what? It just doesn't matter if you go home and you go one step back. It just doesn't matter. You did 10 steps in 1 week. You're going to go back if you don't have. The most important battle is play on every day. So you focus on that. You don't need a great master. Things will start just popping out in your life, something like this video or apps and stuff like that. And you will be able to little by little explore and experiment and figure out what really works for you. But at first, let me make this point clear. There's no chance anyone could make any important and relevant breakthrough in their lives if they don't meditate every day, religiously. I don't mean religious in the sense of, I mean that really committed with yourself, with your well-being, with your peace, with finding a feeling that you have met before in your life, but sometimes people call it happiness or call it joy, call it love, call it whatever. Just, it's there. And the problem is we're trying to create it. You don't create it. You just let it be. But in order for that to emerge from the background of your mind, you need to calm your mind. The first step to calm your mind is to calm your body. And to calm your body, you need to retrain it, not to be constantly moving. Oh, need to check this. No, just demand to your body not to move. You start controlling your nervous system, and you start controlling yourself, controlling your life ultimately. I hope you find this useful. And yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm gonna do this the first video in a while. I'll imagine that I would just do this spontaneous thing. And yeah, let's see how this goes.